Okay, I'm back from holiday now. Like I said, I'm going to start posting these videos every Monday, market overview, just to see exactly how the market's opened and what I'm going to be looking out for the week specifically. Okay, I know, like I said, I haven't been posting for a long time, but I'm going to make this a regular thing now and hold me accountable. If you don't see me posting on a Monday, comment on my page and just say, "Hey, where's the Monday video? Where's the Monday video?" And then I'll make sure I'll upload one. But yeah, let's start off with gold. I'm going to break down the other forex pairs and what I'm looking at for the week. But as we always do, we always start with gold and then go into the dollar, and then we break down all the other pairs and what we're expecting to see. So this is just a trade that I wanted to start off with that I caught this morning, just based off again our simple schematics and understanding exactly what to look for. Like I always point out in regards to my trading Bible right here of exactly how I catch my trades and what I'm always doing. So again, the link is for the PDF down there. So again, this is just literally a derivative of everything I always do. So just understanding just that schematic right there, understanding the intraday plays, we do exactly the same thing. It's literally the same thing I've been doing for years, as you guys have seen time and time again with these pictures again, print screen these pictures in 2020. Okay, so it's literally just the same thing over and over again, and just understanding where price is and what time you need to pull the trigger. So understanding that specific thing came up this morning. Again, we took out the Asia session highs, swept it, and then I was kind of curious about a medium inducement happening more in and around here. Okay, and I'll break that down in a later section when I'm going through the other forex pairs. But I kind of expected price to shift up a little bit more, okay, before dropping. Okay, so when we had that first move, I saw that as a little bit of a fake out. Okay, then we done another move, and I was like, interesting. Okay, it didn't quite come up here, left the gap, and then we dropped even more, sweeping Asia session midline. Okay, so I was thinking, all right, cool. You know what? I'm gonna take the punt on this. Again, recognize the 5 minute candle. On the 1 minute, there was a little gap there, so I was like, this is perfect. We had her 16 pip stop, and then obviously, as you already know, I always do a 10 to 1, which makes it 160 pip TP, which is just before the Asia session low right here. Okay, so that was my 10 to 1. As you already know, I do 10 to 1s and then I let at least 20-30% run and then see how far I can go. So why did I want to do that? Let's go into the 15 minute. Is it on this chart or the other one? It is on this chart. So let's go into the 1 hour real quick. I think I did it on both anyway. So we had these equal lows rule here, sell side liquidity that I wanted to target from last week. Okay, so once we see these sell side liquidity points, we did not take out the Asia session high here. Okay, and we did not take out this major inducement through here as well. So understanding that price stayed under this, broke these lows, I already knew price would be targeting sell side liquidity. This is probably a good chance to switch to this chart, to be honest. So let me just switch to this chart here. Okay, so this is a trade that we actually called out in our group. Okay, through here. Okay, I was looking at this earlier just to make sure I was in the right figure. So again, we actually called this out. What date was this? This was July the 23rd. Okay, we actually called out this sell here 341, 3431, sorry, to 3434. Okay, which is you can see these two entries 343, 3431, 3434. Okay, and the stop loss just above there. Again, this is literally what we called out in our group right here. So understanding that specifically, okay, like since then, okay, and I marked it on this chart result. So since then, same as the other chart I was looking at, I was looking at this sell side liquidity. Okay, looking at that sell side liquidity, again, like I mentioned, price did not go above that buy side liquidity through there. So in this area, we started calling out sells because what did we have? We had a breaker structure through the structure through here. Okay, so if I just go into the 4 hour, let me break this down a little bit more cleanly. Okay, so when we're looking at this structure through here, okay, we made a high, came down, cleaned out all of this through here. Okay, all these trend lines, trend line traders, whatever, however they're doing that, okay, they get taken out. So now we've broken a very key point in this chart. Okay, we've broken a very key point of structure through here. So once I understand that happened and we made this low, now I'm just curious to see exactly how price reacts when we get in and around this area. So if I take my fib from this high to this low through here, okay, we can see where the 89% sits. Okay, and we can see where our sells came in. Okay, again, we mentioned 3431, 3434. Okay, so we mentioned that. So once I understood the assignment here, I always knew that potentially we're going to come for sell side liquidity because what does market structure do? And what do we know our fibs do? Again, we've just taken it from the highest point to lowest point over there. So we start looking at fib extensions. So I'm only looking at these lows being taken out right here, but 27, 41, and 62 all align with these lows over here. So when we start looking at this now, we're just basically doing the same thing again. So now we've got sell side liquidity to the downside right there that we can target. So when I'm looking at all of that now, I'm thinking, cool, that's making a lot of sense. Big target, big target. We didn't take out this high, price stayed underneath. We started breaking structure through here. So naturally, what am I going to expect? I'm going to expect price to keep flowing down, cleaning out trend lines, cleaning out all these kind of things. Okay, and this trend line gets cleaned out literally today. So now what's the next target? Liquidity target number one, two, three, and then four. So these are the price points I'm now looking at where I'm thinking, cool, how do we make that happen? And what's structure telling us? So when we go back into the smaller time frames, you start to understand exactly why we're looking at all of these price points and start to understand why we're taking these entries. So again, coming back into the smaller time frame where we started getting ourselves clean from last week, very clean. Okay, literally, I mean, from there today was 800 pips. So how far are we down now? Okay, because we actually called this on here. So okay, we're saying, yeah, literally we're in a couple of days. So let's just look at this. Okay, you can see literally in between buys and sells, we're just literally calling all of this out. So you're starting to see exactly what's happening. Okay, like it's literally in between. It's crazy. Okay, so literally cool all of that, as you can see, crazy. Like you can see the figures for yourself. Like it goes crazy. So from then, since we called out that trade to where we are now, okay, literally you can see the figures for yourself right there. It's crazy, right? So moving into today, okay, let me go back to the other chart. Okay, this one I actually marked up because the Asia session showed a little bit better. Okay, and this is the thing about switching between charts as well and using different brokers. So right now, this is Awanda. Okay, but this one, as you can see, is the Vantage one. So again, with the Asia session on my Vantage, okay, you can see that kind of gap through there was a bit messy. So I just wanted to go into Awanda just to clean things up a little bit. And this is why I managed to get that cleaner entry through there. Okay, so still holding a tiny position. I'm also hedging against myself. I caught a buy through here as well. Okay, just to see if I could be cheeky to take you up into this area and then we'll see if we continue falling. So for gold, that's what we've basically managed to do. Long-term play, like I just literally showed you, especially on this chart, is literally price coming down towards sell side liquidity. So if I go back to the 4 hour chart, okay, sell side liquidity price number one. So we're looking at 3,250 and then we're looking at 3,120. Okay, and these again, very psychological numbers that you need to understand that price loves going towards, which is why if I literally switch from this chart to, not this chart, from this watch list to this one, and I believe it's this chart. Let me go into the daily. Is it this chart? Yeah. Okay, I haven't done this for a long time, but again, very psychological numbers. You start to understand why these are very powerful. Okay, so let's just literally go back in time and you can start seeing how price is reacting off these psychological numbers. So everything I've marked. Okay, so let's just quickly go back a step and actually explain what this means. Okay, from orange to orange, okay, is 1,000 pips. Okay, and then from orange to yellow is 500 pips. So why I did this is just basically quarter points theory. I'm sure you've probably heard about that before. Quarter points theory, literally, and then you start to understand why this is very powerful and why my charts, I'm not sure if you can see this a little bit, my charts almost look like line paper. Okay, my charts almost look like line paper. Why? Because again, they're very key levels, very key numbers in the intermediary price points. So once you start understanding things like quarter points, you start using it to your advantage. Example like here, okay, the COVID crash and a rebound. Okay, you bang off 1,450. Okay, you start seeing how price reacts. Again, we went up to 180 and the price floats around these two price points. Then we go up to okay 2,050, and then from there we've just been literally riding up and doing a whole madness. Okay, and I haven't literally updated this, but again, you can see the power of price and time and what actually happens. So again, you can see here, okay, 3,495, but getting close to 3,500. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what that is. So let me just literally go back to my other watch list. Focused. Okay, so let's actually do this now. So that's basically gold, breaking that down and understanding exactly what I'm looking for and what I see happening this week. With the sell side liquidity being my target, either one of those. Okay, we can potentially make a pullback through here because we've now taken this low here. Okay, so that's a very big break to me. So again, similar exercise, if we're looking at a break of structure through there, again, let's just say we grab our fib from this low to that high. Okay, yeah, we can see potential pullbacks happening through there. So yeah, we'll see exactly how that plays out. But for now, I'm just thinking price takes out this sell side liquidity and then we move from there and we see exactly what happens. So I think this will continuously be a downtrend potentially for this week. Any pullbacks, I mean, that's a long way to go for a big pullback here and then come in for this. This is the closest point. So I think price would come for this first. Okay, so that's gold because I know everyone loves gold. So I went a little bit more in depth with that one. But let's just actually go through the normal Forex pairs quite quickly. Okay, so DX DXY, as you know, the dollar index, whenever this is going up, most pairs should be going down because it's heavily weighted against it. So when we're seeing this, okay, so this is price of marked up from ages ago. Okay, we had, yeah, it's quite, I like the DXY, it's quite accurate and it does what you want it to do most times. So again, marked up these levels, daily supply got hit and I expected price to come down. It did. You can see here from here, we started looking at price going up. It did hit there to come down. We hit this daily, started going up, but then we came back to the weekly. So now price is just kind of floating around this area. So what I'm curious to see, and what you might have noticed is I've already marked out H4 POY. Okay, so I'm very, very curious to see how price does react because we've broken a low again. So I'm just looking at this thinking, is this just a pullback to hit into this price point? Again, you can see my point of interest. Why? Because it's the gap. Let me just take away my fibs. Okay, is the gap from this price point. You can see the FVG through here and then this up candle. So if I just bring back that Fibonacci, you can see where my 89% is anchored and that's halfway through just that gap. It's so crazy how everything is mathematically aligned in trading, right? So yeah, literally 50% of that POY, okay, minus the candle, the gap. So 89% is literally anchored there. So I'm just curious to see if we get one more move. Okay, let me just get my arrow. If we get one more move from 89, making a new low, and then we go. And if that happens, what does that mean? Because again, like I said, if DXY is going down, everything else roughly should be doing opposite. And if it's going up, everything else should be roughly doing opposite. So what does that mean? So if we're looking at DXY, which is direct correlation of Euro USD, okay, you can see that's doing the direct opposite. So now Euro USD, we start looking at potential buys. Okay, because if dollar's gonna go down, like we just mentioned, okay, from here, where's the arrow going? I thought I did draw one. Okay, if this does go down like that, okay, then what do we expect? Euro USD to do the opposite. So Euro USD, again, we can see the uptrend that's happening with this. Okay, making higher highs, higher lows. Okay, we made a higher high and we have not made our full pullback yet. We've done shallow retracement. I think that's like 50%, wrong tool. I think that's like 50% right there. What is going on? Okay. Okay, we've done, yeah. Okay, it's gone actually deeper than I thought. So 71, but it's still not pulled back to this main area. Okay, this is the demand area that price that's shifting off from. And I'll expect price to come back into there before shifting off again, which is why, again, you can see where the fib's anchored. You can see why I'm interested in it as a H4 point of interest. If we did take it off the H4, working with about 35 pips, but we could probably narrow that down. So that's what I'm looking at for Euro USD. Just again, similar to gold for price to come down and then shift off again. So that's why I'm looking for USD, AD USD. I was looking at this H4 earlier on. I was looking at some cheeky buys off it, but I didn't want to play game. Okay, it went up a little bit and then you can see it's coming down again. So again, similar to Euro USD, made a new higher high. This was the point of interest that I was curious about. But now I'm also looking at pricing through here. Again, you can see the FVG, we can see this candle. So again, point of interest, let me just borrow this one. Oops. Let me just borrow this one, copy, and then paste that. And then let's bring that down here. So this is, again, another H4 point of interest that I'm curious about to see how that might happen. Because again, just looking at Euro USD, we can get similar moves. And like I said, especially if the dollar respects that H4 and we move even lower. Okay, if we move even lower, taking out that low one more time, and then we start getting some accumulation to then see if price can actually start shifting up. So that's what I'm very curious about. So this H4 down here, and then who knows, maybe even this. But again, it's just one step at a time. We don't control the market. We can only anticipate what might happen and then be prepared for it. That's literally all we've got control about. So this one looks like it's not going to hold. Okay, so this one, I mean, I would prefer this one anyway, just due to exactly what we look at for things to trade. Okay, we get a liquidity wipe right here, boom, and then breaks above. Okay, it's literally the same thing I've been doing for years. So again, liquidity wipe, breaks above, get that pullback, and then we go. So again, literally same thing I've been doing for years since 2020, as you can see here. And then obviously with the PDF, you understand all that kind of stuff as well. So when we're seeing that, it just, yeah, I'll prefer this one anyway. So I'm not surprised this didn't work. I just tried to be cheeky. Okay, so this one would be preferable. And then if we do go even lower, because this one is hanging around, then we'll see exactly how that happens. If it breaks that low, then we know we're going for sales. Okay, but again, very similar. This is just a bigger version of this. Okay, so we're seeing that same price action happen time and time again. Okay, for GBP USD. Okay, again, very interesting one as well. Let me just go into the daily. Okay, as you can see, we've made a lot of highs, and yeah, big pullbacks are quite imminent. But again, that depends on the dollar and what we're seeing. I'm just curious to see exactly how that plays out. Okay, because this is right now it's giving me anomaly compared to all the other USD base pairs, where this is actually looking like it's looking to sell. Okay, so we had that weekly supply area that's actually smashed through and then came back into it. So now we're under it again. So I'm just curious to see exactly if this point of interest is going to be very curious. So again, we've got sell side liquidity here that I'm targeting. Okay, sell side liquidity here, that's looking very, very interesting. So let's just mark that out. That could be a target for this week. And then further down here, and then I've got point of interest here as well. So we've got various points of interest to the downside compared to Euro USD, where it's looking like it wants to go to the upside. So that's very interesting to see, quite contradicting as well. Okay, but again, it all depends on how the dollar shifts. But right now, yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting because this is looking more like a buy, but as you see, very, very deep candles for today because the dollar is shifting up quite aggressively. So you're seeing the same for Euro USD. Okay, so I'm just curious to see how this plays out, and I'm curious to see how this plays out because again, both shifting very aggressively to the downside, like they should be, because the dollar is shifting quite aggressively. This is why I said this H4 is a very, very key point to understand what's going to happen with most pairs this week. If we break past that H4, then most of these things, Euro USD, very, very likely to go way lower. Okay, same as GBP USD, which is looking more likely right now. I am preferring this, to be fair. Okay, taking out that sell side liquidity and then this one, and then we got point of interest right there. So I'm preferring those two right now compared to, or should I say, GBP USD compared to Euro USD right now. AD USD, same thing. Can we come way back into these areas as well? So as you can see, price has been very choppy for literally since April. It's been very choppy. This I don't really trade AD USD like that anyway. Okay, so yeah, we're seeing that. Okay, sticking to the forex pairs, GBP JPY. Okay, so GBP JPY, very interesting one. Okay, we had, I'm not sure why I've got two here. You know what, just leave that there. Okay, buy side liquidity is what was targeted since we hit this demand candle in April. Okay, it was always targeting buy side liquidity here, and then we had the higher one through here also. So when I'm looking at that, I always knew that's going to be a target, and then that's going to be a target just based on market structure, based on how we're seeing price. So obviously this is on a daily. If we start going to the smaller time frames, you start to see a better picture of how things have been moving in the smaller frames. Okay, so let's go into the H1. Okay, that was also H1. So when we're seeing that again, this is I was looking for a trade, a sell for this today. So again, we can see the H1 POI right here. Okay, I was looking for a sell for this to come down into here. Okay, it didn't quite come in. It looks like it just came under the H1 candle, but you see why I was looking at this on a 5 minute. Okay, so let's just switch straight to the 5 minute. Okay, on the 5 minute, as you can see, we come up today, do our signature thing. Okay, we've already done a medium inducement. Okay, perfect, done a medium inducement. Okay, got the breaks, got the little breaks there, confirmations. Then we left the gap as we usually do. Okay, 14 pip stop. And I always, like I always do, aim for 10 to 1s, which is 140 pip gain, which also does what? Takes out all of this sell side liquidity. So yeah, I put my sell limit there. Okay, didn't quite come high enough and now it's going down. So I'm just wondering, can this be a trade for tomorrow? Okay, as we already know, okay, how the week usually moves. Okay, Monday retrace slash rebalance previous week's price action. Tuesday we should see a high or low of the week. So it's not Tuesday yet. So I'm still hopeful that maybe potentially somehow this trade could play out tomorrow. Okay, midweek reverse on a Wednesday, especially if Tuesday's objective has not been met. And then we get Thursdays, we push into our point of interest slash gaps, whatever it is. And then Friday, we get 20 to 30% retracement for the week. Okay, so understanding that, okay, Mondays are usually the days to not really be aggressive with trades. Okay, and that's why I didn't really care too much when this didn't tap in. I was like, all right, fair play, just remove my sell limit. And then we see exactly how that develops tomorrow. But as you can see, the game plan for this is just literally coming down into this H1 POI and then seeing if we can actually target buy side liquidity. Why? Because again, market structures to the upside. Okay, until we break this low, okay, the market is literally telling us we want to go higher. Until we break that low and violates that structure, then we know price is shifting again. It's just simple market structure 101. Like it's literally that. Okay, until price tells us that it doesn't want to go higher no more, which is violating the low, then we start going lower. Okay, until then, you can't live for buys, really. I mean, buys long term, but obviously you could trade shorts to then go into longs. Okay, so that's GBP JPY, USD JPY. Something quite similar. I was looking for sells earlier on as well. But price was playing around, deleting my sell limit. I was looking at this area here for a potential sell. And then price is kind of playing around dilly-dallying in and around New York. It's like 3 o'clock. So once price is past 3 p.m., 4 p.m. UK time, I'm not interested no more. And good thing because price is just, yeah, gone higher anyway. So not much there, but again, similar to GBP JPY. I'm not sure if I marked this out already. I did. Okay, similar to GBP JPY, I'm looking for price not long term, but medium term to come down into these kind of areas and then shift off higher because again, structure is telling us after we broke this high, we need a pullback. And where's the demand area that this started from? Why's why is it keep on doing it? Okay, where's the demand area started from right here? So let's do our fib. Okay, you can see where 89% kind of starts aligning with this point of interest with this FVG, ETC. So I'm starting looking at that. Okay, but again, that all depends on what the dollar does, because again, it is a USD based pair. So okay, USD's first symbol, first base pair. So again, it's going to depend what that does, and then we'll see exactly the likelihood of that. But as you can see, quite in sync, both of them rising up. Okay, so I'm just curious to see exactly how does play out. I've got oil. Okay, we had um a sweep right here. Okay, we was waiting for pullbacks, didn't quite come, didn't come, and then boom, finally it did. And then, as you can see, today started rising up. Okay, so for oil, and let's go into the 4 hour. Okay, for oil, okay, you can see again, I've got points of interest to the high side here. Okay, because since we made that pullback, we broke this specific low. Okay, break a structure through here. Okay, so this specific low, you can see the break, and I use light bulbs for my breaker structures. Okay, so you can see that bottom. Okay, you can see that break. So now we expect pullbacks to here, right? So go to the 1 hour and you start to see this a little bit clearer. Okay, so you can see that 1 hour point of interest. Why is it that? Again, we've got FEG and we've got this candle, last up candle before price just literally melted away. So now we get this little sweep breaks, and then we get the tap in of this candle through here. Okay, you get the tap in of that candle through there. You can see we're breaking another high. So tomorrow, if possible, okay, if we maintain this structure, I'm going to be looking for buys in and around this area. Let's go into the 5 minute. Okay, so we can see there's still a gap there. Okay, it's not the cleanest price action through here. I mean, just straight trend lines. Okay, so we already know this is most likely going to get swept. Okay, this is trend lines with a sad face. Okay, so we know that's mostly going to get swept. So what's under this? Under this is literally this tiny candle and this FEG area. Okay, so this will potentially be my buy tomorrow. Okay, because that's that liquidity sweep. Let's just move this over here. Okay, that's that liquidity sweep straight. I mean, yeah, that's looking to be taken out. Then you've got a gap, then you've got a candle. So if we can actually see this potentially come lower tomorrow, okay, I'm going to be very, very interested in this. So we'll see exactly how that plays out. Okay, and then other things, just a note again, US 30. I wasn't really seeing anything too clean for this. Okay, but key thing to note is we've done a big buy side liquidity sweep. Okay, so now I'm curious to see exactly how that does play out going into tomorrow. It's looking very good for a drop. Okay, we had big buy side liquidity to the upside through here. Clean highs. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and we could kind of say 4 through here. Clean sweeps, and then boom, it takes it out. And then now we know pullbacks are now enticed into this area. So US 30 for stock market drop a little bit. Okay, can we see that happening? So yeah, I like this a lot. Okay, I do like this a lot. So boom, point of interest through here. Okay, if we're looking at again 42,000, that's looking like a healthy snack, looking like a very, very healthy snack if we can actually pull that off, if price does actually do that and allow us to come that low. Okay, it's going to be a very long sequence. Okay, I won't say very long, but it's going to be quite a sequence for it to do that. So first signs we need to see is this low being taken out, and then we can start looking at potential big sells. Okay, it's going to be a madness. It's going to be absolute madness. So yeah, we'll see exactly how that plays out, but not too clean right now with price action. Nas, yeah, similar, but it just had this gap, so I was like, yeah, let's leave that. But very, very similar to what I was talking about earlier on. Okay, and then last but not least, let's touch on Bitcoin real quick. Okay, Bitcoin for me, okay, looking at around 100K pullback is what I want to see. Okay, and then the next point, well, I'd love to see to actually load up on my actual personal investments would be around 70K. Okay. Long shot. Okay. Very, very long shot. But if we do come around this area here, because again, we've got what sweeps that haven't happened yet. Okay. I remember when this was here and I was like, come on, please just drop into here. Okay. Come on, please. From a FX standpoint, I was like, come on, please drop into here. From a portfolio standpoint, I should have probably loaded up, but I haven't been looking at Bitcoin too much. I remember marking this up for someone else and they actually bought from this area. And when I looked back at it and they showed me what they made, I was kicking myself. I was absolutely kicking myself because I made them that much money. I was like, bro, you need to give me 10% of your profits. Okay, you need to give I should have fully not joked about that. I said, hey, give me 10%, but nah. It's good. It's good. But yeah, if we drop back into this area, I mean, this is the area I wanted to load up from initially. But yes, right now, who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, first target anyway, 100K, dropping back into there, and then seeing if we can actually get more buys. Because again, simple again, we get the same thing that happens all the time. Structure break, okay, sweep, break above when we never got that pullback. So now, can we get that pullback at least into the H1 100K area? And if we do go lower, like I said, into 70, 68K, then that's when our actual portfolio is going to get loaded up, not with FX. So yeah, I mean, I'll do FX as well, trade it as well, but I actually want to load up on my portfolio. So yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing for Bitcoin as well. So yeah, that's just me seeing what I'm looking at for this week. Like I said, I'm going to try and make this. I won't say try to make it. I am going to make it a weekly thing now. So every Monday, you know what to do. You know what to do. Put your notifications on. I'll be uploading my weekly overview and then posting it on here. So again, you'll see the links for the PDF at the bottom. You'll see the link for the free group at the bottom here. So again, if you wanted to join us, it's literally free. All you have to do is load up your account, trade with us, and then you're in this group. You get signals like that as well. So until next time, I shall catch you guys soon. Peace.